appeared now, which is pretty just weird. Okay, so now we are live. So good evening, everyone. I'm gonna tweet out the link, and then I can't get the link, so I'm not gonna tweet it. I don't know what's up with the Google Hangout today. It's not working with me. It doesn't show me the link. So yeah. Anyway, so there's two things I would like to discuss today at least, and one is the meeting times after 8.0.8. So we decided at some point during this fall to have these meetings every week instead of every other week. And what I wanted to ask is, do we still want to have this every week, or do we want to slow the pace a little bit and have it every other week again?
What I remember happening when we had them every other week and we shifted time zones every other week, that would mean that it was very, at least for me, because I was on Thursdays and collided with me picking up my daughter and stuff, it was very easy for me to then suddenly get out of the whatever talk for a month. You know, because if you miss one meeting, you're out for a month. I think it maybe would be idea to make the meetings shorter. Let's see if we can have a predefined agenda and then have them on a weekly. I think have it on the weekly basis, or at least have it on the same time zone every time. It's all the time. It's good. It's a way of keeping contact. It's also a way to get, hopefully, giving a voice out to people so they have an idea stuff is actually working. There's actually people working on this stuff. Because as soon as we get over to the to the other side of January, because I'm not expecting us to get anything done for the next like 3 or 4 weeks, and also all burned out and so forth. But at that point, that's actually when we're going to figure out if everything we built so far is actually going to work. So it do require some coordination. It do requires us to move forward.
I think regular meetings are very helpful. I think it's one of the reasons we've been able to accomplish a lot of stuff. I think when you have every other week, then it's easy to start forgetting which week it is, and I think when it's a regular commitment, it's easier to just block that off on your calendar and just say, hey, I'm not available at this time. I don't know. You're all friendly folks. I don't mind seeing you, even if we don't have a ton to chat about. I think one thing to keep in mind is I think we all need a break right now, right? I don't know. I feel like I need to not be going at full steam, but that doesn't mean we can't start just sort of thinking about things. Like you said, I think probably what's most important is we all try to build stuff right now and see what's not working. But I think it's January 6th, 2016 is when 8.1 gets opened up for feature stuff. And there's a 2-month window. That's it. Only a 2-month window. So we really need to figure out in the next couple weeks, come up with a plan. I'd suggest coming up with some sort of Kanban board or something. Here are the 5 to 10 issues we want to get done within that 2-month period, because otherwise, it's going to be really hard. I think that's what was really successful, especially at the end, when we had focus on here are the issues we're really going to try to get done.
Yeah,
it's a short window.
Yeah, I agree that we should somehow figure out a good way to organize the short phase of free development for the 8.1, and then afterwards for the 8.2 and so on. But Kanban board might be one. I don't know if is there any other suggestions?
Well, we need one place drop in what is it that we think is important. I've been told about having a roadmap for 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, 8.4, and so forth. and be like, okay, what is it that we? The problem is right now we do not know what's broken. Well, I have a pretty good idea, but it's on a very specific element. But I think it's broken what we should do something about. But we need to build it up in a way so we, instead of each one running around in circles and trying to fix whatever we think is the best, trying to figure out, okay, what is it that's actually needed for the next release? And because I guess at 8.1, that's the first time we're actually gonna break stuff backwards that hopefully Classy and Stable can take care of.
No, yeah, we can't break backwards compatibility. We can add new things in.
Yeah, break stuff. That's what I mean, like taking the Pager template and move that up to Classy and Stable where it belongs. Stuff we didn't move out. Stuff that
we can do that. Yeah.
That way, that's when we're gonna figure out these things actually work. So there's a whole ton of template stuff we need to clean up. There's a whole but yeah, I think that we either have a Kanban board or just having a page somewhere with these are the, not so much like creating issues for them, but just getting words on what is it that we want to work on, and then try to make a collaborative work on those things. So one of the things we're very good at or bad at was doing a lot of detail work where early on where we should have done the really big things, and I think that's kind of a thing that's biting us in the ass right now, at least when I'm looking at templates and stuff. So getting the overall concept of what is it that we want to put in 8.1. Also because that makes it really easy for the rest of the community to understand where it is that we want to push and make it easy, hopefully, for new people to come in and help out. I still think that's one of the things we need to be very focused on, to create issues that, especially one of the things that Emma have been really good at, making a gateway into common help into core. Yeah. So basically, I think it's just creating an issue that's called plan, and then put in like 8.1 and say, okay, what's our plan for it? From the Twig Tramps group, whatever we call this, the Frontend Mafia.
So
the plan is to create a plan.
So Morten and Mark both suggested having Kanban board. Is there any other suggestions how we could organize the work? The concern I have about Kanban board is how are we gonna keep it updated, and how are we gonna make how are we gonna make it accessible for everyone and things like that.
So let me just drop one of the things that I know probably gonna piss somebody off somewhere. The fact is that whatever we decide in these meetings is going to be where we're going to push the things, because it's us who's doing the work. I think we should step up to that responsibility and say we are going to make plans, and we are going to take charge or take leadership on this. Say this is where the trick group want to go, and these are the people who are in the trick group or the front-end group, and these are the things that we have agreed upon. And it's all fine that somebody is disagreeing somewhere in, I don't fucking know, south of Copenhagen somewhere, and think that we are all wrong. But it's not everything that we need to have out to the big vote out to everybody, because that's just going to end up having us all like, oh, what's that? Like, so I do think that we should just put out direction and say this is where we're going to go. Because basically nobody else give a fuck of what we're gonna do as long as stuff happens. And the problem is that there's nobody besides of us who have done anything in Drupal 8 so far, besides 3 or 4 people. Everybody I talk with have no idea where to go with it, no idea what to do. So it is still on our shoulders.
Wait a minute, but aren't we going to be thinking of stuff to do based on the feedback of people who are using Drupal 8, not the people who are working on Drupal 8?
Well, the problem is that nobody's working on Drupal 8 yet, right?
Yeah.
I think
I
there is
am.
lots of people working on Drupal 8.
Well,
I heard there's like tens of thousands of Drupal 8 sites around.
there's almost 60,000 Drupal 8 sites, and that
Oh,
was on the day
yeah.
of release.
So the one thing I've heard feedback for so far is that people have no idea where to go and what to do on the theme layer. They're just pretty much using what they used to do. What I heard as well in Vienna was we want the best practice. No, so my idea was to say we know that these things are still broken, or these things needs to be fixed. So, as you know, fixing all the things around 7 on splitting up the CSS files and do all of that stuff. I know from like the other perspective of that is one of the things that is going to be a pain in the ass is so many CSS files still living in core and so forth. So these are things that we know that needs to get fixed. They could get fixed in an 8.1 release. So that's the way of saying, okay, we know that these are issues that are. The things I hear most about is like people trying to do crazy shit with menus right now. So I don't know if there's any ways of gathering this information because Didalo is basically broken to use as a feedback spot unless we use some time on, I don't know, not Drupal Planet, Drupal, what's it called? That discussion board. Drupal, nobody remember? Discussion board where everybody can talk about Drupal and stuff?
Are you talking about groups.drupal.org?
No, I'm not talking about Drupal.org at all because basically that's all completely unusable. What the fuck is it called? Drupal Answers. God damn it, there it was. Isn't it Drupal Answers it's called?
Yeah.
Let me just find the URL. The problem is that we don't really have any Stack Exchange, Drupal to Stack Exchange. Here we go. One of the problems that we have is besides if you go to a conference and stuff or you're monitoring Twitter or you have, like in my case, I have people like just coming at me and throwing questions at me. It's very hard to figure out what actually goes on. But the number one thing, I was more thinking like, we know that there's stuff that we need to fix in 8.1. And if Mark says, well, we have a 2 months window to get that in, pretty much from January till March, is that right, Doug?
That's my understanding.
So we need to have a plan on that within the next 2 weeks. At least so we can create issues for it, we can organize it. Because what we saw when we really got hammering on getting Drupal 8 out the door was different people having different leads on different elements that they were caring about and hammering on, and that made our things work so much faster. And it's also easier if we know that you can just go to that person, ask the question, then you can move on with your own stuff, or pushing that stuff over, or what we're gonna do. David, we're talking about 8.1 and having a plan for 8.1 as.
So we were talking first, what are we gonna do with the meetings after 8.0.8, and now we derailed to what are we gonna do before 8.1.
And we haven't.
So
yes.
I think we should try to find some kind of consensus. What are we gonna do with the meetings first? Then we can proceed for what to work on before 8.1. So I'm gonna briefly tell David what everything is about. So now that we are moving a little bit slower than before the 8.0 release, I suggested or asked whether we should have weekly meetings or bi-weekly meetings.
I say weekly meetings.
Right. So
Yeah.
we've expressed our opinion. How about other people? David, Emma, Joel, Lewis, what do you think?
I like the weekly meetings because it keeps momentum going. Even
I
if
think
it's
maybe it would make sense to slow down a bit now. I'm not really sure how everyone else feels, but I don't feel like maintaining the same momentum that we were before the release.
Yeah. I'm with Louis. at least for a while now, maybe till the open development phase. But there is also the other side that that Scott has suggested, that is having the weekly meetings, and then if someone misses, then the break is not that long. But I don't know if that is really a problem right now. Like if we slow the pace for the Christmas, have a short Christmas break, or the other idea is we have still the next weekly meeting next week, and then we have a break for like 2-3 weeks till next year. And then we can have, I mean, people are gonna celebrate the Christmas, so, or if people want, we can have the meetings during Christmas and come party Christmas here in the Twig calls, because we don't have any other life anyway. At least I don't have. I don't know about others. So,
I personally don't care about the frequency. We're definitely not going to maintain the momentum we had before, but that might be okay. So if we still did them weekly, but people just don't show up every week, I mean, that might be fine.
Yeah, like we're not saying deadlines. We're like, well, by next week we want to get this done. It's just so we can just check in every week. And, yeah.
So David suggests. I'm doing notes also at the same time, so this is. So are we gonna? Is the consensus that we are gonna have the weekly meetings? We don't feel bad if everyone doesn't show up every week. I think, like, even though we've had this now every week, there has been a decent amount of people at the calls. So let's do the meetings every week. As long as there is someone running them, I think it's fine.
They also don't have to be long.
Yeah. Morten suggested that earlier, that we should have a little bit tighter agenda for the meetings, so we could have them maybe a little bit shorter.
Morten's the one suggesting that?
Yeah, Morten was the one.
I know.
Yeah.
He's been talking the whole time.
Yeah.
Captain
I
Tangent.
couldn't finish this one.
All right. So if we want short meetings, we need to set up a Morten timer.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think we should proceed for a little bit similar kind of workflow we had earlier, that everyone is gonna fill beforehand on the doc what they want to talk about, and then we have agenda over there. Everyone agrees with that? Okay. Okay, I think we have a consensus now. How are we going to run the meetings after 8.0.0? So we can proceed for what to work on before 8.1. That is actually one of the topics that I already was planning to talk about today. What should we focus on? What to work before 8.1? So, does anyone have nice overview? What kind of bugs has people found?
Just a quick chime in on this one. For what we have, tools that we have already to kind of keep track of this stuff, we have your issue queue. People use their dashboard. We have DrupalTwig.org, I think. I don't even go there enough to know. But that one actually has a Kanban board as well, and it uses Twig as the tag to find it in there. So if you tag anything with Twig, it shows up in the Focus Novice different tabs on DrupalTwig.org. And then we also have, we can use a Kanban board if we want to use that kind of model to keep track of things. And there's also what Morten was mentioning there. we can kind of troll Stack Exchange to find like what real problems people are having. So those are the discovery methods. They're not all perfect. They all have their own drawbacks, and people kind of have their own preferences on which one works best for them. But yeah, knowing that they exist should kind of help you, and maybe there's a better one out there, better tool to keep track of this stuff. And yeah, so just wanted to chime in.
Yeah, I really like the tool that they're using on the contrib Kanban. So I think we should try to set up something similar. That is.
I'm just reading up on it. It's made by Matt Glaman, and the goal is to provide Drupal.org community with a simple way to spend on projects. Currently following yada yada, Wake Media, Panoply, and Scotch.
And he's really responsive to fixes or changes to make it work better for us, and, or just making a specific one for us. So
can we create that project?
we can create anything that we want for that kind of stuff. We just have to give him a shout.
Usually you can just, yeah.
So if you want to have like a front end capture tag.
Yeah, no, that's actually another thing I was thinking. Like been using Drupal Twig for a while. When we were basically, because when we started out, it was fuck PHP template, let's get Twig in. Now the PHP template is dead and gone. I know it's derailing, but should we think about going back to just talking Drupal frontend instead?
Yeah.
Likely.
I'd like us to stop calling us the Twig team.
Yeah.
Honestly, because we're a lot more than that.
Yeah.
We're working on, making Bartik great. We're working on making 7 great. We're working on making CSS better. It's, we we can celebrate this, right? We finished the Twig conversion. Drupal 8 uses Twig. There is not PHP template, so
No
we're doing
functions
things
either.
Twig, but we're not the Twig team.
I'm coming up with new names of track champs and swims and swimmage maps. Sorry. Yeah, but no, definitely. I think going back to like content instead of talking about that is because I mean you said we missing the Twig team TDG instead just to make it like. Anyways,
Is there a front-end IRC channel?
what I think we should just rename our we've created so many different channels over the years to try to get like discussion. The good thing about this one, Drupal-Twig, has been that that's been really the place where we've been able to discuss all of these things without having people jumping in and say, "Oh, my menu is broken. How do I add a class into a block?"
Yeah, but one thing I think is Twig kind of is our theme system now, even though it's only one part of it. But for people, Twig is what they see, and they think it's Twig.
Yeah.
So even though it's not very explicitly correct, I don't think it's the most correct name for that. I think it's what people expect it to be. So even though it's not the right one, I would be happy with the Drupal Twig.
Well, I do think
We can do Drupal front end as well. Like we've been using that one in our sprints at the cons.
Yeah.
Sprinting, that's been our tag, but you could also use it as like do front end as a
Yeah,
channel
well,
as well.
Shouldn't we just do Drupal theming?
Sure.
Yeah, that would actually make sense. Yeah, because it's.
They're not a theming IRC channel? I'm actually surprised by that.
Oh, there's a theme, but it's
Drupal themes, isn't it?
I think. Oh. Well, I wouldn't want themes.
I wasn't necessarily saying we should change our channel. That's been out there a lot. I don't know. Maybe that is how we get defined.
As we want to, we just say we're just going to change it. I mean, so
Yeah,
much.
I'm okay with it.
Maybe it makes sense to join like Drupal themes or wherever like themers hang out that aren't people who aren't contributing to the core. If we're hanging out in the same place as them, maybe we're going to catch a lot more.
One of the problems is that there's really no place to hang out. I mean, that's like one of the next thing that we should. I'm thinking of like trying to figure out how we can build that in a better way. But that's a whole another discussion. That's not so much about this. I think maybe somebody sit down and think about how to do it and then come up with a plan. I don't think we have to discuss that. I think it's more important to figure out what are we gonna focus on for 8.1, and how are we gonna make a plan for that. What I would suggest right now out of my head was that we take a meeting on, next Thursday we have a meeting, and then we all go like into holiday mode and stuff. And then at that meeting, we're trying to come up at least with like an overview of which things is it that we need to work on, so we get an idea of what is it that people want to work on, so we can begin to like make plans for that and create issues and so forth. That would be my plan for it. What is Drupal East, man?
That's where all the hipsters are.
I thought it was important.
Oh, well, oh yeah, maybe that too.
That's where they take medals. Bang!
Yeah. So we're actually hang out. For organizing, like you were talking about before, Morten, about trying to find out where people are having like real world problems, and Drupal Answers is probably a really good place for that. I don't actually look through there myself to try to help, I guess. I usually just go through the issue queue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So about the issues, during the few weeks that we've had the Drupal 8 release, there hasn't been really that many issues popping up. The issues that are there, the new ones, are mostly created by me or someone else in the team. And I think if I would have to conclude what has been the biggest problem, is the last minute changes we made for the tweak configuration has been causing lots of bugs. So that is definitely thing that we are fixing right now. I think Joel knows what I'm talking about.
The theme system?
No, the tweak settings itself, like the whitelisting and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, so basically that whole thing broke our site by multiple ways.
Yes.
So we didn't manage to figure out all the use cases of that, and yeah.
Yeah, security.
Yeah.
But there's some improvements that we have on the plate that should help a couple things. Is there still outstanding things that haven't been kind of have a patch ready for it yet?
I think there is one that is RTBC, and Catch said that it's ready to be committed and for 8.0.
The one this morning, yeah.
Yeah, and there is few others that are quite important ones also to get fixed at some point.
The theme suggestions always keeps catching people whenever they're trying them out and trying to use them. I've seen it a couple times in IRC and also in my talks as well, and trying it myself when I realized it didn't work. You can't use theme suggestion, theme hook. What is it called? Hook. Theme suggestions hook inside of a theme. You have to use the alter, and that one throws people. Even though it makes sense, it's just every time.
But
yeah,
it throws. Design done like a year and a half ago.
What's that?
Wasn't that done? I remember Mako creating that patch like a year and a half ago.
Oh yeah, no, that one's a long time ago. It's just that one seems to be causing problems.
So is that a bug? So is that a bug or a design problem?
It's like a architectural problem. It makes sense. Like it's like people, if you once you understand it, they kind of get it. You're altering.
Right. So that sounds like a documentation problem.
Yeah.
Partially,
yeah.
That's also like you're trying to use it yourself, and then you realize it just doesn't work that way. So yeah.
Yeah, I think we should be focusing on documentation right now.
Yeah, that is one of the problems we have, that there is not much documentation.
There's no real. And it's not so much like which 5 ways should I do this stuff. The one thing I hear from everybody is just tell me how to do this.
So I've been preparing inside our company like a Drupal 8 theming book, and I might be publishing that sometime soon.
Awesome.
Probably not next week, but hopefully before Christmas anyway.
No, if we can get stuff out. I mean, I have a whole ton of stuff in my end as well, especially now when I'm beginning to getting my own shit out on Drupal 8. There's many things. But I was thinking if we can do some way of. The problem is we don't want to end up being a support team for the rest of the community, right? That's my biggest fear. That if we say, can you send us your biggest issues, that will make the vampires come out.
But that is the way we get feedback. That is the way we can figure out the goals.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's going to happen for a long time until there are enough blog posts and books and documentation out there saying how to do stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, write blog posts. You've got something.
I mean, we don't get those questions for 7 because 7's been out for so long, and also because a lot of it was very similar to 6 as well. So.
Yeah,
there was common knowledge, and some of the things that. I mean.
So one of the problems we have is that there is just so much misinformation about Drupal 8 because we were talking about Drupal 8 release happening for so long time. So there is like Drupal 8 blog posts from 3 years ago that are saying that this is the way to do it in Drupal 8, and there is nothing that is relevant with the theme system we have anymore there. Like everything has completely changed from that point. And then people are trying to work by reading those blog posts, and then they're like, what? This is just bullshit. Drupal 8 sucks. Nothing is.
And we have the other issue from the theme perspective that there's no way of doing a layout, so you're kind of saying like, I want to build this shit, and suddenly you end up in fucking views configuration bullshit with classes all over inside of a UI, and I mean that's a whole other issue. There's architectural stuff that's not in it. I do not know if that can come into 8.1, but. As Mark says, that we need to get some post out and we need to get some direction.
The layouts are not in Drupal 7 either.
Yeah, no, I know, but but we don't have panels display suite, and they're basically doing the same as well. Drives me batshit. No, we're not gonna do the effect. No.
Yeah, front-end factor.
Anyways, I need to let this run off in a second. Isn't the idea? I would just suggest that we use the next week to figure out what is it that we would really like to see happen when 8.1 comes out. Because if we don't put out a plan now, then it's going to be the same panic shit, and we have 2 months, which is both good and bad.
Well, why do we need a plan? I mean, the whole point of the minor release is to add new features, but if we don't have any new features that anybody wants to add, then who cares? And we're still going to continue fixing bug fixes and getting those patches in minor releases, and it doesn't really matter. The whole minor release schedule is if you finish something that can only go in a minor release, you're basically waiting for the next minor release for it to come out. But if we're not working on something, it's not really a deadline that really matters.
True.
So, I created a Trello board here. I want to do something. This is similar to what I was doing towards the end of RC. Was I created a prioritized list. I did it as the gist, but I think it's going to be easier if I do it in Trello, which was just I did manually tracking of things, but just to keep track of like, here's the most important things that we have that we want to get done. Like the Kanban boards are great on keeping track of here's the status of a certain issues with a certain hashtag, but it's not so great for like when you want to manually track here's the things that are most important that we want to get done. So I created a D8 front-end folk team, and if anybody wants in, what? It's not. What do you mean it's not found? Oh, you have to be a team member. That's what I was just saying. So I can make it public, but
actually, we already had a Trello board.
Yes.
I've made this public visible now, so now the link should work.
Ooh. Who had that? Joel, did you have that?
We had it somewhere. It's.
I had something, but it was annoying. Like it took a while to get everybody hooked up to it correctly, and like it's kind of now.
I would
don't
need
like
people's email addresses to add them to this.
Exactly, that's the problem.
But if people want to, it just, if I guess this is being broadcast live right now, so if people don't want to add your email addresses now, that's cool. But I might do this for things that I care about. If anybody else wants to do this to track things they care about, you're welcome to.
Definitely.
I guess one of the problems with like having something that's outside of the issue queue is that these things tend to go missing. There's all kinds of Google Docs and stuff that are just vanished because they're not linked to anywhere in the issue queue. Is it possible that we could have like an issue for tracking this stuff and then link to the Trello board from there?
Yeah, we should create an issue for that. Yeah.
Don't we actually on Dito now have an issue that's not a bug, but it's a plan?
Yes.
We have a few of them.
Yeah.
Different plans.
Yeah, that could work too. Then you can automatically see what the status is of an issue based on the color.
Yeah, Trello's really good for keeping track for yourself, like kind of get yourself prepped and put them in order. But having an issue queue, at least everybody can kind of find it if they're looking, and it's just one place to look. So, and the tags are helping surface some of these things to some of our other external tools. So I'm going to talk to.
We should maybe link that from documentation.
Pardon?
We should maybe link that from the Drupal.org documentation, so it'd be easier to find.
The Trello board?
Yeah, you said put the link in an issue, but the problem with the issue is then you have to find the issue.
Uh-huh. You can check it on the IRC. Yeah, put it on the IRC. On the IRC.
You have to find an issue that has the link, which you can't find, which is the other thing. We have so much content that's not browsable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can put it at the top of our IRC channel as part of the topic links. For the Kanban board, I'm just gonna see if I can get mglamin to open one up. We might have to change the configuration. We're just gonna get it started. So I've opened up a ticket for him, just in case we have want to track our things in that style, which is just a kind of a nicer way to deal with what we were using Drupal twig.org for.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, a plan issue to kind of write down the notes of what the plan is a good start, and then we can kind of share it here. And if there's a place in documentation that would work for, that might be a good place to put it as well. I just don't know where in documentation, David, that would go.
Probably in the contribute area or the theming guide.
Yeah,
Theming guide
those are
is
more
not
like
really
end user things.
Yeah, theming guide is how to use the theme system. It probably is not like how we plan to do new stuff or fix things or improve things in Drupal. I wouldn't put plan of attack in the theming guide. But there might be contributing. There might be somewhere in contributing.
There is a contribute section. I'm trying to find it. You would think that would be easier to find.
It's kind of tricky to like consolidate, because I was actually trying to like troll the issue queues for everybody else's issue queues, because everybody's doing it a little bit different. Like I'm looking at theme system, and then I'm trying to clean up theme system as a component. There's theme system and render components are very similar, except the render components are usually deeper and more cache related, it seems. And then there's also like CSS Bartik, classy. So if I'm looking for classy stuff, it's going to be in the classy component. If I'm looking for stable or Stark or something like that, it's going to be in each individual ones. So I was like trying to select all those different ones and try to keep track of what you guys are working on too. And there's a CSS one as well. So bringing those all together so that we can kind of work on them all together, because we are like everybody here seems to be working in different parts of that.
I thought we solved this problem by having a common tag across.
Yeah, the front end tag is the one that we were using, unless I'm wrong.
I've always used front end tag for everything.
Front end tag. Okay. Now we haven't tagged everything with that, so maybe we should do that a little bit better. I probably have to tag things better with the front end tag.
Yeah, people are looking for it.
Yeah.
And just assume that's the one that we use as well.
Yeah, that's the one I tended to do.
Yeah, so that's I'm trying to kind of think in my head how I can do better at that. Like some things are front end related, but like they're theme systems, so theme system is kind of straddling that middle ground, where it affects the front end, but it doesn't actually do anything.
Yeah.
You're not doing anything front end.
The back end of it.
Yeah, we've been tagging those ones twig just because.
Yeah. Maybe we should just be theming, or I don't know.
But yeah, the front end tag is great for keeping the CSS JavaScript template type and even the themes themselves grouped together, which is great. Can do the theme system stuff in there too, though.
We could have a theming one that covers more stuff.
A general, yeah.
Maybe it could match our new name for whatever IRC channel is going to be.
Right.
Quick time tag.
League of Extraordinary Front-Enders.
Like it.
Loaf, I guess, is how you'd shorten that.
Loaf.
I can't wait to make that logo.
People love.
God damn it.
That's the theme name, the new theme name. We have to
No.
come up with.
That's the new theme we're gonna do.
I'm on
Yeah,
it.
love theme.
By the way,
It almost goes to Lefse. That would be really great. Get it to spell out Lefse. I know.
No. Really cool. Amazing front end.
Ooh, I like that. League of Amazing Front-Enders.
Gonna make it be loaf.
Yep.
but then what about those front enders who are not amazing?
Yeah,
Well,
my only concern, like, I'm kind of joking. I don't want people to have, like, imposter syndrome.
I totally want to have like a league or like the council or something that can smack down
Council of Front-End Justice.
when he doesn't understand. We need to remove those fucking settings out of use. Jesus Christ. Anyways.
Anyway.
So, anyways, I found in the documentation there's this drupal.org/contribute/core. What would be really nice is right now there should be a like sub-page in there for, like Drupal teams, because there's a bunch of teams, right, that work on various things, and it'd be nice to have. Then you could have child pages for like the front end team and for.
Well, so this is actually one of the changes that's supposed to happen sometime soon on Drupal.org. They're adding organic groups and this content type for initiatives, which is exactly what this is supposed to be for. So once that stuff actually gets added, we could add one that's for like front end, and it would literally just organize everything. We could add documentation and wikis and link issues and all that sort of stuff like it and keep it all together in one place.
But what's the timeline for that?
I don't know. I know that components for it have already been added, I believe they started adding the content types. I think it just hasn't been rolled out. I could ask Tatiana or somebody about it. I mean, it's not something that's going to get added in next month. It might be 6 months away or something.
Right.
6 months.
I don't know. I'm making numbers up.
Oh, that's Tatiana. The birthday next week.
I also just wanted to share from like Drupal.org type thing. I'm playing around right now with trying to help out getting syntax highlighting on Drupal.org because I
cool.
hate the colors.
Yeah.
So I'm playing with Prism right now. And
add in Prism, get it done. But
yeah, well, that was my hope, and I'm trying to get it working. The code filter and stuff like that. I have to get it wrapped properly.
Okay.
But otherwise, yeah, it looks nice. Prisms, I left the color. I like the black one, but I'm leaving the one that looks close to what it is, so I don't get any strife. Hopefully, so the default one that comes from Prism looks nice, anyways.
Yeah, because I dropped in my local version of KSS. I dropped in Prism, and unfortunately, we cannot pack KSS right now with Prism because it's MIT licensed. I get so tired of that open source licensing bullshit.
Oh, you're not allowed to use MIT stuff?
What?
You're not allowed to use MIT stuff?
Well, you cannot, if you have it hosted on D.O, right, you cannot put MIT stuff in it.
Oh, I guess this is that sucks. But there is a Prism library on D.O, so how does it... Oh, libraries.
Prism library on D.O, you have to separately download the Prism files and add them in afterwards. This is where I just go to GitHub and be all like, fuck you, D.O, I'm not going to use my time on this shit. It's so counterproductive every fucking time. Anyways, that's a whole nother thing.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure the MIT license is GPL compatible. I think, isn't the policy that we don't host front-end libraries on .org?
That might be it might be just that, because I'm hoping, I'm actually putting, I'm trying to help a theme get across the finish line to become a real project, and MIT was one of the things that I had written that was in there, I think, so I'm hoping it'll pass. We'll see really soon if that passes.
It would be nice if we could just dump in MIT stuff as well. I mean, and also I think the only way of doing that else is just saying, well, we're just going to begin to host our stuff on GitHub instead and be all like, fuck you, Drupal. Because at then at some point, D.O is not going to be relevant anymore, so either they change the policy or it just becomes relevant.
Yeah, but just copying and pasting in libraries isn't a very modern way of doing it anyway, so...
Well, it's pretty modern if you want to have people to use it. Else you have to like first download one library, then you have to download another library over here, and you have to find another URL to download it over there. And it kind of ends up having to... I mean, I don't know if it's modern. I just think it's practical to only have one link when you download a project or a module instead of having to say, let me just start up my grunt chat to build this stuff.
Yeah, it's annoying. But this is what they're doing in the PHP side now, right? Everything's composer based.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something that has to... Yeah.
I like hanging out with you, but...
Yes, I need to go.
We gotta have limits.
We've hit 1 hour. Thanks, Mark.
Yes. All right. See you on Thursday with a plan for if we have big shit for 8.1.
Finalize a name.
Yes.
So.
All right.
Bye.
Never.
Hang out.